Right, it is my privilege tonight to introduce the speaker to you. We are friends for a very, very long time already. I won't tell you how much.
3 decades. We've been friends since Ron was 50 years old.
Yes, so really great to introduce him to you. He's a man of integrity, a man you can trust, and you can depend on him. He also have an honors degree in the sciences, if I'm correct. Also have a few diplomas in nutrition. So he really know what he's talking about. So open your ears and listen. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Well, everybody, this is what we're talking about, The Big Fat Surprise. It's based on a book by Nina Teicholz and also Ultra Processed People, a book by Chris Van Tulleken. And then we'll add our own little. We're going to do a little bit of bad news first. But first, let me just do the introduction. So there we go. I bring more than 25 years of expertise with a scientific background, and hopefully this is going to be a captivating talk, healthy eating and supplementation. So I'm not a substitute for professional medical advice. Consult healthcare professionals before making dietary or supplementary changes. You want to make sure you stay curious. The best people in the world are those that are curious and resilient. You want to seek personalized guidance and use critical thinking for informed choices. Because, of course, like anything, nutrition has got varying sides and varying opinions. So this should be an incredibly flavorful journey towards a healthier you. And I wish you bon appetit as we continue. So I want to ask a few questions. What if our bodies are brilliant? We're going to start with what if. What if they're brilliant and everything they do is part of a strategy to survive and thrive? What if every intricate process our bodies attempt are simply its best path forward, given the resources and the roadblocks that it has at the time? What if our bodies are brilliant, given that billions of our cells purposefully, yes, on purpose, they die each day? And why do they die? They do that so that they can brilliantly allow for constant growth and adaptation, and physical injury, stress, and toxin exposure result in additional cellular death. Where does all of this waste go if we're not removing it as quickly as we're producing it? The waste from all the cellular production and injuries and stuff needs to go somewhere. Where does it go? We need to remove it. What if our bodies only recognize natural substances, things that are made from the whole human food diet? And what if they get confused by synthetic or ultra-processed foods we commonly consume, like emulsifiers, artificial flavors, vegetable and seed oils, and don't even get me started, artificial sweeteners. Let's not even go there. How do our bodies deal with these substances? I mean, they're amazing, they're incredible, but how do they deal with this? What if the cure for every disease is simply to remove excess waste and other things in the way so the bodies can do the job? Our brilliant bodies can do it and do the job to heal naturally. What if it takes drastically longer for some people than others? And we're noticing that. And what does that depend on? It depends on their unique history and lifestyle. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was considerably younger, my idea of a balanced meal was a hamburger and chips and a fizzy drink. It had all the food groups in it. Okay. What if our bodies are brilliant? Let's continue with that. What if people everywhere began to recognize that our bodies are brilliant? We're on a mission. We are really on a mission to make sure that everybody begins to recognize our bodies are brilliant. That this pandemic has now shown that we are responsible for our own health. We are in control, not reliant on man-made inventions to fix supposed shortcomings. Instead, what if we looked at what we eat and drink and how we talk, bon appetit, and how we think and feel? What if our bodies are brilliant? What if we demanded that every dollar or pound or rand currently allocated to disease treatments was instead spent on cleaning our air, cleaning the soil, and cleaning the water, and doing regenerative organic farming? What if we focused on removing any and all impediments standing in the way that nature intended our bodies to work? What if? That's a lot of what ifs. What if our bodies are brilliant? And I'd just like you to spend a moment thinking, what would the world look like if we all realized this together? Right, enough of those what ifs. Can we trust expert opinion? Yes, a couple of expert opinions. If those of you that don't know, this was the guy that was telling everybody to stay at home, avoid contact with people. In the meantime, he was busy smooching in Parliament, and he lost his job over that. He was caught on CCTV having an affair. Okay? I'm sure the Mona Lisa wasn't wearing this in the Louvre. I'm sure they wouldn't have allowed that to be defaced, but the whole sort of thing. Can we trust expert opinion? Well, the other thing is, which science can we believe? Global warming, natural oscillations. You know, Steve Jobs said you can't actually connect the dots forward. You can only connect the dots backwards. You know, and climate models are only as good as the assumptions they make. So what science do we believe? What science can we believe? Let's talk a little bit about nutrition and you then. So if these things are so duplicitous, how does this affect you? Am I doing the right thing? What is the truth? People will tell you, you are crazy doing that. How can you be sure? Well, I feel better. He has a wonderful example. Before, he weighed 450 pounds. He was on all sorts of things. He wanted to live to see his children. His waist was 60 inches. He wore a 5 extra large t-shirt, 5XL. And afterwards, 199 pounds, 40 inches, only an extra large size. And by the way, when you lose weight like that, very often you have to have surgery to remove the excess skin. There was no surgery required with this person. His body was given everything it needed to sort itself out. He was off all medications within less than 6 months. Amazing. What if he'd listened to the people that told him, don't try that, go the medical way? Okay. We have things called cognitive dissonance. It leads to social and moral discomfort. Here in the UK, the Mirror reported, Brit meat eaters say they feel shamed. I'm not one of them. And I know a good few friends of mine that also, we were walking around town at Christchurch Meadow, and we saw some wonderful cows and cattle in the field, in the meadow. And we both said, thank you, Lord, for creating such wonderful grass that tastes so good when it's on a barbecue. Okay. And the same thing, go green, go vegan for the sake of the planet. Save the planet, save yourself. Come on, guys. What can we... You all want to be on a guilt trip? So diet has become the latest front in the culture wars. Shame on you if you want to eat meat. You're killing the planet. How dare you? Okay. We're so upset. We're so shamed. Let's eat some comfort food, shall we? There we go. Look at all that lovely comfort food. Eat that. They'll tell you to eat that, but don't you dare. Don't you even think. Don't even dare eat something like that that's so healthy. Lovely protein, lovely fried eggs, lovely beef, grass-fed beef, organically grown. Don't you dare do that. That brings us on to denial of scientific findings. What if there were no denial of scientific findings? Let's forget about global warming and all those sorts of things. Let's just talk about what's happening about fats. Okay? Saturated fats. What if saturated fats are not as bad as they've been made out to be? Okay, that publication, the study, they gave some people 9% saturated fat diet, others an 18% saturated fat diet. 9,000, more than 9,000 people over a 4-year period. And what did you think? What do you think they found? They found for the entire population, there was no difference. Listen, no difference between the treatment and control groups for cardiovascular events, cardiovascular deaths, or total mortality. It made no difference. For years they've been saying low fat, low fat, low fat. But here, absolutely no difference. Over a 4-year period, more than 9,000 people. Denial of scientific findings, yet they still say low fat diet. Unbelievable. What if we were aware of this? There are not enough people aware of this. What if we were aware of this? The more the men in the British Medical Journal in 2015, the more the men lowered the cholesterol, the more they were likely to die from cardiovascular death. Shocking. You don't hear anybody talking about that. No, lower your cholesterol, lower your cholesterol. But all we're doing is sending our men to a greater likelihood of cardiovascular death. It's absolutely shocking. Here's another one, saturated fats and health. Okay, this article was chosen as one of 2020's top papers by the editor-in-chief of the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. The authors include 3 scientists who served on the expert committees deciding the guidelines. They are saying here effectively, we got it wrong. They're reassessing and have another proposal for food-based recommendations. There's no robust evidence that current population-wide arbitrary upper limits on saturated fat consumption in the US will prevent cardiovascular disease or reduce mortality. So they essentially said they've got it wrong. But what did they do? Did they change it? No, they still keep the same guidelines. They haven't changed it. Now, I don't know if you recognize the cheeky monkey there, but what if we didn't have a monkey selling chocolate cereal to children at breakfast time? Absolutely shocking. Whole grains. No nonsense. There's no whole grain in there whatsoever. All the oils, all the lipids and sterols have been stripped out. Or what if all of our problems are as a result of eating ultra-processed foods? And we are addicted to it. Yes, I said addicted. So what is an ultra-processed food, you ask me? Okay, in Chris Van Tulleken's book, he says, why do we all eat stuff that isn't food? And why can't we stop? Ultra-processed food. This is really scary. If it's wrapped in plastic, okay, and it's got at least one ingredient you don't typically find in a domestic kitchen. So, for example, they hide it in, they give it all sorts of interesting names: xanthan gum, emulsifier, flavoring, sweetener, proprietary, whatever. Okay, most of it is obvious. And wherever you shop, the streets are full of factory-made junk. At the moment, between 60 to 100% of the food we eat is total junk. And your body, what if our bodies are brilliant? What if we're feeding them junk? What can they do? They are saying, hey, whose side are you on? I thought you were on my side. Let's make you live longer, a long and healthy and fruitful life. And then what do? We go and eat ultra-processed food. What if? This has been going, do you know, this has been going on since the replacement of butter with margarine in the late 19th century. And still the last couple of weeks, I've been talking to people saying, oh yeah, I'm really healthy. I use this when I'm cooking. I say, what's wrong with butter? Oh, butter. No, you can't have butter. That's bad for you. Okay, additives are the least of our worries. The big thing is it's soft and it's so full of calories. We consume it far too quickly. As Chris Van Tulleken says, it's inhalably fast to eat. You might almost just be inhaling it. And then there's the long list of side effects. Artificial sweeteners spike blood sugar. It's been shown. You might as well have the proper thing. You might as well have the real thing and have some fiber afterwards. Additives affect the microbiome. Artificial sweeteners too. They're all sugar alcohols. The process is toxic. Extracting them creates toxins. Okay, there's a reasonable degree of evidence. Now, we're talking about a medical scientist says there's a reasonable degree of evidence or confidence that they cause chronic disease, cardiovascular disease, obesity, cancer, mental health, and the list goes on. You must know if a medical practitioner or scientist or researcher says a reasonable degree of confidence, they can't actually say more than that, but they are saying that it's pretty confident. Okay, and this is even more shocking. 4 years ago, 2019, poor diet overtook smoking as the leading cause of premature death. We need to wake up, people. I'm sorry, but we really need to wake up. What if an ultra-processed food, this is the definition, it's an industrialized edible substance, not just made for profit. There we go. They only make it for profit because it's cheap junk and they sell it at inflated prices. And they also want to increase excessive consumption. They do it on purpose. Okay, so if you learn one thing from that book, you want to understand that particularly obesity, overweight. A lot of people say, I'm so struggling to lose weight. And I'm trying everything. But particularly obesity and all the diseases associated with diet are caused by these predatory transnational food corporations that turn our poor health into money. Right, so where do we go from there? You really did 5 steps. Let me just go quickly. I've gone a bit too far. There are 5 steps. How do you identify ultra-processed food? The first thing you do is you read the ingredients list. When they say humectants, emulsifiers, stabilizers, gums, fruit concentrate, natural flavoring, sweetener, you know it's ultra-processed, okay? You don't even have to think. Bread should only have at most 3, maybe 4 ingredients, okay? I've seen some breads that have got I counted them, 15 to 25 ingredients. Why? Why on earth? Why put a plasticizer in bread? Okay, the other thing, this is a little controversial, but bear with me. What you want to do is you want to keep eating them just for a while. Why do you want to do that? Just be mindful. You want to see the tartaric acid in bread. Date them. And notice they all taste pretty much the same. All these things taste pretty much the same. If you don't know what datum is, here it is. It's diacetyl tartaric acid ester of mono and diglycerides. Or it's an E number, E472E, okay? It's an emulsifier in baking to strengthen the gluten. Not much wonder people have gluten intolerance. Not much wonder. I'm gluten intolerant. No, it's this E472E they're putting in that you're intolerant to. Your body says, hey, come on, I don't like this stuff. Don't give me junk. Right. So don't worry too much about salt, fat, and sugar. Sure, limit your salt. But in the 1980s, it was fats. And they're replaced by gums. Okay, not teeth, not the things behind teeth that hold your teeth in, if you don't have teeth. But people got fatter. People got increased weight. In the 2000s, sugar was replaced by artificial sweeteners. No change. Did you hear that? No change. The big thing is that taste prompts digestion. So by putting salt, fat, and proper sugar in your food, it prompts digestion. You want to learn, one of the things you want to do is learn how additives affect your health. In the UK, most of them are not toxic. But here's the big thing, here's the kicker. There's been no study on the biome and metabolic effects. There's been no study seeing how it affects your metabolism and your biome, your gut. Emulsifiers are like detergents. They scrub out the gut. When you don't have the good bacteria, it's an amazing place for all nasty things to be processed and to grow. So what can you do? Well, you want to start with breakfast, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about what you want to do with that. Lunch, it's not always so easy. It may not be so easy. You could always have a packed lunch, unless you're fortunate enough to be working from home. Okay, so if you try to go and buy something that's not ultra processed for lunch at a local store or something like a supermarket, you may be better abstaining. And I'm so proud of Charlie Bolton saying he'll rather go hungry than eat junk food. That's incredible discipline. Okay, what are we going to do? You want to make sure you get enough of the doctors. They're all there. Dr. Ed, take a deep breath. Dr. Water, clean, filtered water the way it's meant to be. Get enough good quality sleep. Get enough sunshine. There was amazing sunshine today. I was out walking with a friend of mine. Wonderful in the sunshine today. Make sure you get enough doctor rest. Okay. Doctor exercise. Now, you don't have to be a triathlete. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine who's a chemist, he actually is a triathlete. He trains like crazy. But all you got to do is exercise for about 30 minutes, 3 times a week with an elevated heart rate and working up a bit of a sweat. Then laughter, Dr. Laughter. Hopefully, there'll be a prompt for Dr. Laughter at the end of this talk. We'll see. So there we go. Dr. Food is the most essential and misunderstood doctor. You want to eat only organic, non-GMO, pesticide-free. You can check out EWG. You want to cook from scratch. I'm just so blessed. My beautiful wife has made a wonderful vegetarian dish tonight. Everything cooked from scratch. Nothing in a box, nothing in a can, nothing from a packet or frozen. You want to make everything sure everything's homemade with fresh ingredients. You want to eat living foods, salads, ginger, celery, things with lots of electrolytes. You want to avoid sugar, starches, and processed carbs. So yeah, sorry, I love pasta and bread just as much as the rest of you. Crackers, I'm not so fond of anymore. They drive me crackers anyway, and especially cereal. You want to avoid peanut butter, popcorn, reduced acid foods, and red meat. That's what you need to be doing for the food. So let's have a look. What is your path to vibrant health? If we have a quick look at the world's healthiest countries, we can see Spain, Italy, Iceland, Japan, Switzerland, and Sweden are in the top 6. This was as of 2020. United Kingdom is 20th, and the United States 35th. South Africa is somewhere way below that. Don't make it on the list. Not on the slide anyway. I apologize to those from South Africa. Right. Chronic disease. This is a bar chart just showing the prevalence of chronic disease in the US. From 1995, it was at 118 million. 2030, they estimate it's going to be 171 million. Now, chronic disease is something that you can't sneeze and give somebody diabetes. You can't sneeze and give them cardiovascular disease. It's that sort of thing. It's mostly lifestyle. The World Health Organization said chronic disease caused 71% of all deaths. And the Center for Disease Control says up to 80% of those could be prevented, delayed, or alleviated through proper nutrition and better lifestyle choices. So there we go. You may say, well, hey, I'm okay. I eat right. I drink healthy stuff. Well, in a study of nearly 22,000 Americans, not even one of them got all of the 10 specific essential nutrients researchers were looking for in their regular diet. 10 out of 56, not even one. And they were supposedly fit people, healthy people that ate right, okay, that watched what they ate. There are 2 independent studies that show incredible nutrient depletion in our food over the last about 50 years. For example, and this study was done in Sweden in the same field on the same crops. In a serving of spinach, iron dropped by 21%, vitamin A by 38%, vitamin C by 60%. Okay, so you say, well, so what? That's just one thing. Well, let's have a look. How else does it affect things? In 1950, if you ate a wonderful red apple, an apple a day, kept the doctor away, you got 4.3 milligrams of iron. Now, in 1998, one apple only gave you 0.18 milligrams. Okay. So you have to eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26 apples to get the equivalent of 1. You'll be like a house if you can manage to eat them all. And the same with oranges. Okay, in 1980, you eat 1. University of Texas did the study. Because of soil depletion, have your fruits and vegetables become less nutritious? Yes, the science says. Today, you must eat 8 for the same nutrients because they're 27% less calcium, less iron, less vitamin C, less vitamin A. Okay, again, I don't know about you. I'm not really that fond of oranges, so I'm certainly not going to eat 8 of them. Okay, so there we go. A reminder, the prevalence of chronic disease just in the US, but most Western worlds have a similar challenge. And according to the Council for Responsible Nutrition, 80% of adults currently take a daily supplement. That's in 2021. So if that's happening, why is chronic disease on the increase? We've seen a little bit about the lies we've been told, trash we've been fed, we've been force-fed. Okay, so key thing then, is the supplement industry not just a scam? Well, let's zoom in and have a look, shall we? It's so confusing. Nobody knows what to do. Let's just have a look. The FDA finds hidden drugs in nearly 50 supplements sold on Amazon. Some of them Amazon's Choice, labeled #1 bestseller. Come on, guys. Hidden drugs. But the label says, no, people say, but the label says, every week I get somebody saying, what do you think of this drug or this supplement or this? And I look at the label and I see, well, it's just the label. Yeah, the label said the joint supplement contained undeclared drugs. It said omega-3, glucosamine, and curcumin were on the label, sold at Walmart. But they also found to contain an anti-inflammatory drug that can cause heart attack or stroke, bleeding, and other serious side effects. Here you think you're helping your joints out, and what you're actually doing is giving yourself a heart attack or stroke or bleeding. Absolutely shocking. Okay, what I'm drinking here has got a little bit of aloe vera in it, with actual aloe vera in it, the active ingredients. Bloomberg News did that study. There was no evidence of aloe vera. Surely, if you buy an aloe vera product, you expect to have aloe vera in it. So I ask the question again, is the supplement industry not just a scam? Let's take another look. Well, what can we do? Well, here we go. Let's stop that gyro and stop that confusing before we get too confused. There are criteria for choosing a good supplement. The first one, it must be made from human natural whole foods. Okay? Not krill oil. We know of someone who gave their son who had health challenges krill oil and ended up in a wheelchair, paralyzed for life, because it's not from the human natural whole foods. It must be produced under pharmaceutical license. If it's not produced under license, then whatever's in the product or on the label is probably not going to be in the product. You need to have third-party human clinical trials. I'm not a rat. I don't know about you. So we want to make sure that humans they need to be published in peer-reviewed publications. If anybody asks you for, but have you seen this? We made this in our garage. No, please show me these things. Show me the third-party human clinical trials. They actually make a difference. So we're going to go through this. One of the things, these are things that I take on a daily basis. And what you want to do, you want to make sure the cells are working properly. We're going to go, what it does is it, from the 1950s already, it balances hormones, thyroid, supports adrenals, improves sleep, increases energy, improves mental health. Do you know anybody that needs that? I'm sure you do. Okay, increased nutrient assimilation by 50%, increased detoxification by 50%. That is absolutely amazing. Since the 1950s, and no other company has even bothered to copy it. Okay, Yeah, let's go back to the New England Journal of Medicine in 1994. Beta carotene increases lung cancer and heart attacks. And as recently, I was reading a study as well. They've now again said, except for folic acid for pregnant moms, you're wasting your time with more than 95% of the supplements you're taking. This is in an actual journal published. Okay. Here they took a synthetic beta carotene for 10 years. It resulted in an 18% high risk of lung cancer and heart attacks. One of the carotenoids. Here's a study on carotenoids. There we go. Boosts the immune system by 37%. Imagine that. Increased natural killer cells. So before any disease wants to get hold of you, they got a 20% less chance of getting through. Curbs cell oxidation damage by 40%. Protects against cholesterol-related heart disease by 500%. How many men do you know that need that? The thing is, it balances an overactive immune system. It slows aging. You can avoid cold and flu. My sister was on antibiotics for upper respiratory tract problems for 12 months. She took nine of these 10 times for over a period of 10 days, and that was it. Sorted. No problem anymore. Okay, so a whole bunch of things. Of course, it strengthens your vision. What you need is juice extracted, dehydrated, organically grown, non-hybrid, vine-ripened, non-GMO fruits and vegetables produced according to pharmaceutical regulations published in peer-reviewed journals. Okay, that's what you need. All right. And then we're going to get onto salmon oil. Again, the same sort of thing. Okay, 68% in lowered inflammatory index in just 8 weeks. Nutritional gaps that it helps: heart health, bone and joint health. How many people do you know that need improved memory and brain health? How many do you know who have headaches and migraines? How many do you know who require better vision or have serious mood issues or inflamed prostates? So all those sorts of things. Okay, and there they are, publications featuring the study. Those are all there. If somebody invited you to this talk, make sure there is plenty of information. We don't have time to go through all these things in detail. Okay, let's talk about protein. Everybody's talking about protein and collagen. Okay, so here we go. On lead, 70% of them had lead in them. 74% cadmium. I don't know if you know these things are heavy metals. They are not good for you. Okay. Arsenic, it's just shocking. And BPA, even in the plant-based were worse. Here's the collagen investigation. If you're taking a collagen, you've got a 100% chance that it's going to have mercury in it. Absolutely shocking. And then there's 7 criteria if you want to take a quality protein. Again, life is a little bit too short this evening to be able to going through those, but speak to the person that invited you. They can give you all the information to your due diligence. So we're not even going to talk about that solution. I'm just going to say, well, here's a slide. That happened. We all know what happened in 2021. We got what they call a clap in the face. Okay, 2022, still suffering, reeling from the injury. Gosh, we hope this year will be different. And that's going to happen. So unless we change something, nothing's going to change. We're just going to keep on getting clapped in the face. Okay, you need to change. So what do we do? If you want you and your family to be healthy, it may be time for you to change your buying habits. And of course, the normal disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. It's not to be considered medical advice. You know all these things, and I'm going to stop.